Hello and welcome to my strategies for teaching vocabulary and comprehension. My name is Roxanne Robinette and I will be your instructor for the day. So let's go ahead and get started. So there are three levels of vocabulary learning, Tier 1, Tier 2, and Tier 3. So Tier 1 are basic words. They occur frequently in our language. Examples: dog, cat, house, sister, brother, things like that. Something that a child could easily use in their everyday language. Tier 2. These are words that are more common in adult conversation or adult language and can be used across a variety of areas, knowledge domains, and these words can also have multiple meanings. Examples would be benevolent and industrious. And then Tier 3 words. Those are words in specific knowledge domains. What I was thinking when I first read this was, maybe when I was in college and I was choosing a major or taking different subjects. There's economics, there's chemistry, there's physics. Each of those has their own words that are very specific. So you could think maybe even technology or occupations, they have language-specific words. You could think in chemistry, isotope, or actually the word economics itself, or even the word crepe, as in the food, for the food industry. So those are the three levels of vocabulary learning. Let's go ahead and move on. So word maps. Word maps can be used for instructional purposes and even assessment purposes. It's a way to visually organize a word's meaning relationships. And they answer three questions. What is it? What is it like? And what are some examples? So you can see here that I have put up a sample word map showing that the word, the definition, or the word itself, the definition, synonyms of what is the word like. I did also put antonyms for what is it not like, examples of the word, and then non-examples. So what is it not like? All right. So I actually went ahead and did one for you. I will click on the next slide, but these word maps are helpful because they activate and associate the word with a child's prior knowledge and experience. And the key is to do one map per word. So let's go ahead and go look at my word map. All right, here is my word map. And you can see here I chose the word aviator. So most of us know what an aviator is as an adult. However, that might be a new word for some of our students. So the definition is the operator or pilot of an aircraft, especially an airplane. Synonyms: pilot, ace, barnstormer, navigator, or flyer. Antonyms: I went with driver or sailor. Examples of aviators: Amelia Earhart, the Wright brothers, and Charles Lindbergh. Non-examples: I went with Army soldiers and a Navy sniper: George Washington, Douglas MacArthur, and Chris Kyle. I tried to go with more famous non-aviators: Army soldiers and a Navy SEAL, just because that then students might be more aware of these particular people. Okay, let's move on to the Frayer model. So the Frayer model is another graphic way to aid our vocabulary instruction. It helps our students to understand new vocabulary and concepts and relate them to what they already know. So we went ahead with the word reptile. So the definition that I got was from Britannica.com, and it's an animal that has cold blood, that lays eggs, and that has a body covered with scales. So what are the characteristics of a reptile? So it's cold-blooded, the sun warms them up, they're egg-laying, they have a scaly body, and they crawl or move on its belly or has short legs. So what are some examples of reptiles? Alligators, crocodiles, lizards, snakes, turtles, and even dinosaurs. I know some of my kindergarten students actually would love dinosaurs, so that would be a great association for them to learn a reptile. But a lot of them love all things creepy crawly too. So some non-examples of reptiles. What is a reptile not? It's not a horse. They're not cows, humans, or even birds. Okay, so that was the Frayer model. Let's move on to some research-based comprehension strategies. So QARS. What is a QAR? Well, that is a question-answer relationship. So it's a strategy that's been designed to help children answer both low-level questions and higher-ordered questions. There are 4 QARs that help children to figure out the information source to use for answering a question. I will start. So the 4 QARs are actually the 2 subcategories that I have listed. But when you're instructing students, you actually want to start with 2 concepts of where I would find the answers of in the book and in my head. So once we grasp those basic concepts of where to find answers of either in the book or in my head, we can actually break it down. So in the book subcategories would be right there and think and search. So the right there answers literal or low-level questions. Usually the answer is in a single sentence, maybe 2 sentences connected by a pronoun, but it is pretty explicit in the text. Think and search. You basically can teach the students to look at the text structure and see that maybe it's a cause and effect or problem solution. Again, in the text, but you do have to think about it. All right, and then in my head subcategories, those are author and me and on my own. So questions asked before reading, well, those are higher level questions. Some that you'll think about, and sometimes that you work with the author to come up with those solutions. So questions asked before you're reading will generally be on my own questions, as they activate your prior knowledge and experience, so you can kind of associate and learn and comprehend. It helps you comprehend those readings. Questions after the readings usually will be think and search and author and me type questions. So that's a little bit about QARs. Let's go ahead and move on to some recommendations or my preferred strategies for those who need extra help with reading comprehension. So one of the ways that I plan to implement in my classroom is increased teacher modeling and scaffolding, and increased instructional time. So if I am going to teach them and they're not quite understanding what I am trying to get them to do, I will happily walk them through exactly what I'm looking for. And I'm going to teach them how to sufficiently find answers, and then we will keep repeating this strategy with different types of texts. Basically, I'm going to immerse them in the comprehension aspects of it. Eventually, I will give them a little more responsibility, even if it's just letting them work on one question instead of by themselves, instead of me doing all the questions for them. So that's my goal, though, is to eventually release the responsibility to them. But until I am comfortable, or they are comfortable doing it on their own, then I will work through it with them. So the next one is developing deep vocabulary and concept knowledge. So vocabulary will aid reading comprehension. So developing that vocabulary is a must. And actually reading through the book, this is why it shows that it is a must. The book shows that 80% of variance in reading comprehension test scores is because of vocab knowledge, or vocabulary knowledge. And for fourth graders, this is astounding to me. 70% of reading comprehension problems is directly related to the lack of vocabulary knowledge. So that is why I want to develop deep vocabulary and concept knowledge. And this will directly aid their reading comprehension. And then finally, I would like to capitalize on my students' interests and their abilities. So sometimes when you're having trouble with reading comprehension, you know, or even understanding the text, well, same thing. Sometimes it would help to pick something that a student knows a lot about already. And then at that point, they know what they're reading, and you can focus on some of the questions, like the QARS that I previously referred to. And it also may motivate them to continue to read and to try and focus harder. You know, the student may not have to focus on those unknown words, and they can just focus on working on comprehension and answering the low level and higher order questions. So that is my preferred strategies, and I really thank you for taking the time to listen to me. You guys have a great night.